we can see some more people joining us. But hello, everyone. Well, ladies, gentlemen, distinguished guests, I know it's late. I know it has been quite a hard day. You've listened to so many talks, to so many fantastic keynotes. But let's keep discussing. You know how they say, let's keep the momentum going. So this is very important because why we gathered in such a fantastic European industry days, that's not only to talk, but to continue on actions. And this is very important. I hope everyone takes that home with them. So, one more time, good afternoon. Buenas tardes. I hope my pronunciation is good. And it is an absolute pleasure for me to be here today, and it's a huge honor to moderate this fantastic panel with such experts. We're gonna be talking about an important topic, the subject at hand, industry-led pragmatic approaches on skills for competitive and climate-neutral EU. It is not just timely, but it's crucial. As we stand at the crossroads of industry evolution and climate urgency. In the present era, the convergence of swiftly progressing technology and indisputable imperative for sustainable practices demands our collective actions and our collective focus. The industries have a crucial role in not only supporting the economies, but also serving as the foundation for innovation, which can lead us, of course, towards more sustainable future. Today's session is designed to provide a holistic exploration of how European industry, working together with European clusters, with its vast experience and expertise, addresses the challenges and needs of EU's skills landscape. Our esteemed panelists will not only go deep into strategies for competency enhancement, but also spotlight the tangible ways in which we strategies are driving sustainable growth across sectors. What is truly exciting about this discussion? That it is emphasizes on real-world examples. We're going to be talking about real use cases. These are not hypotheticals or abstract concepts. These are the models which are already being used in the world. And these models are tested by the leading industrial Euro clusters, with a focus spanning from pioneering realms of deep tech, of clean tech, the transformative powers of generative AI, and sustainable promise of biomaterials. We prepared quite a journey that encompasses the extensive range and profound extent of European industrial clusters ecosystem. So, let me introduce fantastic experts and panelists with who we're gonna be talking about important matters. That's Carolina Garces, Project Manager, Internationalization and Innovation at Cluster Mobile Heights. Let's give that hand of applause. Antonio Novo, the President of the European Clusters Alliance. Francisca Vica, full professor at the University of Malaga. And Thorsten Urban, Head of Education, Training, and Medical at the Plastics Institute. 'Institute. 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 ' just before we start the discussion, very quickly, I'm going to present how our panel will go. We're going to hear short introductions of each of our panelists. Then we're going to have quite nice discussion on the matters. And lastly, we are expecting our listeners to be engaged into Q&A session. So let's start with the Caroline.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, and please present yourself and explain why you're here and what is your use case.
Yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Thank you for the invitation. My name is Carolina Garcés. I represent the IT cluster in the south of Sweden, Mobile Heights. We also lead the initiative of the National Association of Swedish Clusters. And the work that we do every day is to support companies to grow, to innovate, and to become competitive. So today I have been invited to talk about how can we sustainably address the skills gap that we are facing in Europe. And it's actually a very important topic because if we don't manage to find the right skills, we cannot foster innovation and we cannot remain competitive. Can we start maybe with the presentation?
Yeah, with the presentation,
actually,
please.
It's my duty here.
So whatever it's suitable for you, you can stand, you can sit, Carolina.
Yeah, it comes. Today what I want to do is to, from our role of cluster, we have had the opportunity to work near to the companies, to understand their needs and their pains, and to be able to implement different initiatives and strategies. But let me put you first into the context, because I think it is important to understand how challenging is the context that we have nowadays in Europe. If you can see here, according to the Digital Economy and Society Index, 77% of the companies in Europe feel that it will be difficult for them to find the right skills. By 2021, we had 9 million ICT workers in the European companies. By the end of 2030, we will need 20 million people, so the double. And worse than that, only 1 out of 5 people working with ICT specialists or graduates are women. That means that we are missing half of the potential and the skills. So I do believe, from my perspective on the years that I have been working with this area, that the problem with this sector is the complexity of this challenge, because we have several actors and stakeholders with different interests and priorities that need to work together. The whole ecosystem needs to work together in order to put the resources towards the same direction. So collaboration is fundamental. Let me present to you one of the projects that we have participated as a cluster together with other 5 cluster organizations in the south of Sweden and the regional authority. The idea was to identify what were the needs of the small and medium companies in order to be able to reach the digital transformation process. So what we did was to interview the companies, because the companies know best what is it that they need, right? So we interviewed them. We had workshops with the CEOs and the HR department to understand. We went through the whole business strategy and the digitalization transformation strategy of the companies, and we identified the skills gap. So at the end of these workshops, we had identified the skills that they have and the skills that they lacked. After that, we teamed up with the universities and even private education providers, and then we created a curriculum of educations together, a portfolio of educations together, and through procurements, we offer free educations for them. So this is an initiative that shows how can, with the right initiatives and the right actors, in this case, the cluster organizations that work near to the industry, we can make upskilling and reskilling accessible for Europe. At the end of the results are here. You can see it in your screen. More than 200 companies participated in the project. We educated more than 2,000 people. more than 700 educations and more than 30,000 hours. The best of the project was at the end, when we asked the participants how satisfied you are. And they said 86% of the participants say, like, I believe that I have become more competitive both for my company and for the labor market. Another project that we have participated in is an analysis and a study to understand the skill supply. We wanted to team up with other cluster organizations and the science park in the region to understand what are the main pains and desires and needs that the small and medium companies in the tech sector, it was really targeted to the tech sector, had when it comes to addressing the skills gap. What we found is that, of course, the majority of the companies were unsure about the skills that they will be able to find, but they were not that worried about the junior employees, because they teamed up already with universities and even with vocational education. Actually, Mobile Heights is already a good intermediary. We help the universities, we put them together with the companies to help the students to find the first job, for example, internships, even use cases for the master thesis. So that was not really a problem. The problem for the small and medium companies was to find seniority level. And the journey was so complicated because they said, okay, we invested resources in recruitment process, sometimes already abroad outside Sweden, but at the end, they couldn't recruit. So their decision was to, let's recruit juniors. Let's invest on onboarding training that will take 2 or 3 years. And the idea was that this new senior will then be leading a team of new juniors. What happened is that, in the majority of the cases, is that this senior software developer became attractive to the large companies and they move often to the large cities. For us, it was clear that it was not only an effort of upskilling and reskilling, but it was an effort of talent attraction, not only at the international level, but also at local level, and to retain the right talent inside. And I just want to highlight an example of a cluster in the south of Sweden. The gaming industry is called Game Habitat. They understood this from the roots. They created a 360 solution where they have launched a campaign to explain how nice it is to live in Sweden, the work-life balance that we have in our country, the paternity leave. They have targeted already to attract 5,000 game developers to the region. And they are also offering courses, for Swedish courses. They are offering an integration process to the spouses. They are creating also the Academy for Gaming, so upskilling for those gamer developers that are moving to Sweden. So this is only to show how important it is to think out of the box and to analyze the problem from different perspectives. I know that I don't have that much time, but I just want to highlight how important, I just want to come back to this number. Women occupancy, only 22% of all tech roles across European companies. I do believe that the best bet to solve and close this gap is there. We have to put a lot of effort so women understand and jump in this journey to shape their own future through technology.
Thank you so much, Carolina. Thank you so much. And what an impressive numbers, fantastic examples. And we will continue on the question that you have just started about the gender equality, but let me go to Antonio. Antonio, please.
Okay, slide on.
Yeah, okay. Just right away, thank you, Nina. I have help at the end of the room. Please scan Slido, and after each presentation, we're gonna be asking for 2 questions, and then see the results and continue on the discussions. No? Okay. So now I would like to continue with you, Antonio. Please present the presentation, and we will continue. So for the Slido, you'll be able to answer the questions, and then put in the questions, whatever you would have for the open Q&A. Please.
I feel more comfortable here standing, sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I'm very glad to be here with you, speaking today of skilling. Upskilling is, for my cluster, is highest priority. Most of you know that I am the president of the European Cluster Alliance, but I am also cluster manager of IDEA in Aragon, in Spain. We are focused on digital projects, aspects, capabilities, and we were born in 2004. And the first common activity in the cluster was precisely common training. Okay, and we have been developing training programs for all those past years. I don't know, can I have the presentation please in the screen? Is that possible? Can you change to the...
We will go presentation after presentation and then
Antonio
discussion.
Novo presentation? That would be nice.
Antonio?
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, okay. No.
No.
It could be now. Here. Okay. So, I want to explain how we approach the challenges that we are facing, okay? My members are quite serious on this point, okay? And they, as I said, we have been working from 2004. On 2005, we reached an agreement of public-private collaboration between the clusters and the regional authorities on not only in training, but also in detecting the training needs at global level in our region. Because my cluster represents something like 50%, directly 50% of the net gross value on the region. So we are quite representative. And we were agreeing with the region how to cover those training and skilling needs for many, many years. But at the end, on 2014, we had a high-level alert warning on the coming from the members because they were telling us, telling me, telling the cluster, okay, it's not enough. We are facing a very big challenge, very big problems, and we need to think on another level. And so we are starting on 2015 with we agreed with the regional government to make a very serious study on what should be done, okay, at the regional level. And we developed the study and we created a program. This is the study is written in 2015, but we interviewed something like 500 companies just in order to really understand what were the needs and what were the actions to cover those needs. I will not say that all the actions were taken, okay, because it was an agreement between both the industry and the government, but many of them were planned and developed. And so we launched the program Encuentra. It's just an example. We continue with the normal flow of courses, hundreds of courses, but we created this program just to address the needs and the opportunities coming from the young people and women, okay? And our idea is, or was, we know that there are no opportunities to hire more people that is trained on digital, okay, coming from the engineers, because all of them are working, and all of them are very strong offers coming not only from the region, but from outside the region. I need to say that most of our best people is going out to the big companies or to the Sweden. Because I don't know. That's a pity, but it's a reality. So we thought, okay, what happens if we are able to offer to those with other training capabilities? It could be media, it could be statistics, it could be, I don't know, mathematical, of course, but also creative industries, you know? What happens if we can offer them a serious program, training them for 3 months, not 3 days, or not, but training them in the best quality courses that we could offer, agreed with the main, brands, Microsoft, Google, with certification. What happens, we offer them that, and we give them the opportunity to work in our companies. And so that was the approach. And it was not only about offering the training. It is, Christina mentioned before, it's a holistic approach. And so we have a strong team, agreed with the government on raising awareness, and we have dedicated a lot of time to go into the high schools, and to explain why they should really engage in this area, speaking with women, kind of facilitating the guidance on how to do it, explaining that digital is not only about pure statistical programming, it's about creativity, it's about even social approach, it's about user interface. There are many different skills and capabilities that should be integrated, that can be integrated. So we trying to explain that, and after all those steps, we offer the training and the recruitment facilities. So we have different numbers. This is just for the program, but I think that the good numbers is that we just reached near 50% of the attendance participants as women. That was even some of the programs were just for women. Okay, and we have speaking of people that is not they don't have digital degrees. Okay, we have 60% of them being hired in the first month after closing the courses. We don't have the tricking after that. Okay, but we think it's far higher. Okay, so this is. This was our approach. The World Economic Forum evaluated it as a real model, okay, and published a document on it, okay. And as I say, it's combining the industrial need with the very quick approach to solve it. We were requested by the companies on organizing some kind of training today, and we were able to deliver the training in 1 month, and to provide people training in 3 months. And that's all from my side. Now the most current challenge is in generative and artificial intelligence. What you call ChatGPT is most well known, okay? But this is a extremely hot topic and critical for all of us to understand and to integrate in our skilling capacities. And there are some very big risks and opportunities. Risk on using the wrong data, or publishing data that you don't want to publish, and also opportunities to take advantage of. And it's going, the speed now is jumping up in comparison with if we say that before it was very urgent to quickly integrate the new technologies. This is not urgent, this is just now, okay? If not, we will lose some of our running courses, So let's go for it, and let's think about what can we do to really enable our skill force on that area, not only in the previous one. Okay?
Thank you so much, Antonio. And indeed, it is very important to mention and talk about artificial intelligence. Let's continue. We'll come back to the discussion, but please, Francisco, the floor is yours.
I don't think that we are hearing you. No? No?
Better? No. Does anyone? Yeah, you can hear? Okay. Here we go.
So what about now? Good. I was saying thank you to the audience for being here, and also to the organizers for inviting us. I am a researcher and professor at the University of Malaga in artificial intelligence, and I'm going to talk about Techie. This initiative is made in collaboration between the University of Malaga and also Gaia, which is the cluster of technological industries in the vast country. This has been running for the last 3 years, 3.5 years, and it is concerned basically with the speed with which we are getting into technological transformations. As you can see, in the last decades, we went from sending a man to the moon to having 40 years ago personal computers, then 30 years ago the internet, then 15 years ago the smartphones. This happens too fast. So maybe in other disciplines it is not a problem, but here it is. At the university we take 1 year to change the plans, educational plans. So maybe something that is demanded now, it will be ready in a couple of years when it is obsolete. So there is kind of a synchronization problem there. So what we are proposing has to do with the two transitions that is taking place in the European community. One is, has to do with the green transition, with the climate transition, and the other with the digital transition. So probably all these terms sounds familiar to you. I would like to highlight the fact that we have to improve ICT skills, not only ICT, as Antonio said, but also creativity, the fact that we have to respond rapidly in an original way, sometimes to problems that come too fast, and also to updating curricula. I mean, we need to be very fast in taking awareness of what is important and prioritizing that. So this is what we have been dealing with in the last 9 years, building this platform for children so they can learn here. This is, of course, free for the educational centers. It is being used now by thousands of them, centers, and many thousands of students in Spain, also in South America. It can teach a very simple programming language, but also artificial intelligence. So it is kind of a very basic tool to teach many important skills that are needed in these days. We organize hackathons. We have a television series trying to promote this. So it is not only giving them a software. It is creating something around the fact that we have to teach computer science in general. So many people is afraid that this is too difficult, that this is not for them, especially women think that this is not for them. This is kind of a problem. So Toolbox Academy is only the platform, but we are dealing with something that is much bigger than that. The platform is not only a place to learn, but it's also a place where we learn from them. How do they learn? How do they use it? And also how the talent in ICT distributes geographically and also socially. So it is kind of a radar that we are using now to detect this talent and to promote it into more skills, hard and soft skills, itineraries that can be personalized according to state-of-the-art technologies, artificial intelligence technologies, and also an observatory of the European talent. I mean, it is not only a question of having more talent, but having located it. I mean, we need to know where it is. This is the really important thing. We expect that these efforts will promote computer science and will drive more people into the labor market and also to higher education. I mean, really need more people in that subject. So, more graphically, it will be something like this: big data, generated by Toolbox Academy, deep learning algorithms to understand what is going on there, and then building this not only content repository. I mean, we used to think in a Coursera way that you only have to put the material there, they will use it. It is much more than that. I mean, in computer science, it is not only learning from online media, it is also building communities. This is very, very important. So peer communities where they can interact. I mean, as a computer scientist, when I program, I depend a lot on others because I need their help in many ways. So it is very much like that. But children cannot get into that. Young people cannot get into that because professional programmers have a high level. So we need to build these communities among them so they can help each other. Oops. So this will be more or less our milestones, our roadmap, building these competencies at the professional and academic level, building these pilots at a larger scale. I mean, we have the support of multinational companies at this point, but also institutions. I mean, educational departments in the governments of the different communities in Spain that are supporting this project. Self-diagnosis, I mean, the fact that you learn from yourself what are you good in, I mean, what you should follow in the future. These training itineraries that are personalized to everybody, these peer communities that I was talking about, this observatory that is very important because we need to know what is going on in Europe. So these are the numbers that we are trying to reach in the next years. This is it, basically. So we hope that in the future we will have not only more professionals in ICT, but also a more adapted society to the technological changes. I mean, we really need people to understand what is going on, because these revolutions that are coming in the future will take us probably without the knowledge, without the means to know how to use them, how to better benefit from them. So this is it.
Thank you so much, Francisco. Another big numbers and another fantastic example, but let me go further and let me introduce once again, Thorsten, please, we'll listen to your story.
Thank you so much. I'll try my microphone. Yes, it's working. Very good. Thank you.
We'll wait for the presentation to start.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, there it is. Yeah, thank you for a nice introduction. My name is Thorsten. I'm representing the Plastics Institute of Lüdenscheid. We are located close to Cologne in Germany. And since our founding in 1988, we are a service provider and a problem solution for the plastics industry, mainly the automotive industry, with meanwhile 100 employees and about 400 stakeholders, most of them SMEs just around our location. And since that time, since 1988, we always did a lot of education measures for the industry, 250 seminars per year with more than 2,000 participants, for example. But what we also do on the European level, we do development of new education measures, and this is why I called my title European Thinking of Education. For example, we started 2 new projects. So we, as a plastic cluster, we are doing an inter-clustering. We put connection to other clusters within Europe. And these are the 2 projects I'd like to introduce to you. The first one is called CircVet. So that means circular economy and vocational education and training. And there we have a consortium of meanwhile 12 partners of 6 European countries that work together. And we all like to be Europeans. We have open borders and we have the same currency, and this is very nice and very comfortable. But believe me, talking about environmental politics, we have a jungle of laws, a jungle of restrictions, and a jungle of orders, and whatever you can imagine. And I'm not sure if we can reduce this in a certain amount of time, but what we can do is we can set up an education program to manage all this. And this is why we thought about founding this cluster for education development with those 12 partners, founded by Erasmus Plus program of the European Union. This is what we're very happy about. And what we are going to do, this program is running just at this point of time. We are going to create a hybrid course for circular economy. And what we also want to do, we want to integrate it into the ECTS point system for the European universities and do this also for vocational educational training. Yeah, and the next steps, and you see this little lamp there, we do regular project meetings, and we are just about to set up the first piloting courses. And if anybody of you has an interest to participate in this, we are still looking for users that are like to bring their input to this course and tell us what can be improved and so on and so on. This will last until August 2025, so there's a time of 3 years, and a budget of 1.9 million euros with a funding rate of 80%. So also very interesting for all those clusters working together. This was the first example we are doing at the moment. The second one is also very interesting. It's called Step to Lab, also European project founded by Erasmus Plus program. It's called Step to Labor, and there are 7 partners of 6 European countries working together, as you can see on this map. So what's the item about this? Step to Lab means Step to Labor, and the title is, in fact, Systematic Transition from Prison into the Labor Market. That means, yes, our main target group are really prisoners, young prisoners, with light punishment like 2 or 3 years. So to be honest, we talk about young boys of 17, 18, 19 years of age who have gone wrong once in their life. Most of them regret that and deserve a second chance. And on the other hand side, the companies, the SMEs, are strongly looking for educated people, but what they do not do at this point of time, they do not talk really together. So the prisoners, the prison system, and the prisons do not know what's going on in the industry, and the industry does not know what's going on in the prisons. You see this little rose up there. There's a story behind it. During this project, we visited a prison in the north of Barcelona in Spain, a youth prison with all young boys in it. And of course, they are doing education, training on the job, like in German prisons as well. So for this example, they learned the profession of an iron welder. And as a gift for all us project partners, they produced this little rose. It's made of iron with a wood foot, and they gave it to us as a present. Very nice to see, and they can show their ability to weld this metal. But to be honest, this is not what the industry is looking for. This is nice to see. But the industry is looking for welders who are able to weld bridges and strong things and fences and something like that. So the main task of this project is to bring the companies and the prisons together and to establish an education program which will also take part inside the companies while educating the prisoners. And there is a special challenge, of course, because the prisoners will have to go out into the companies, have to learn the job, and then, of course, you have to observe safety reasons, for example, or safety objectives, for example, if you give them any tools and what do you do to not make them escape, and so on and so on and so on. So we as a Plastic Institute, we are very specialized in education for plastic things, but we don't have any experience in the treatment of prisoners. And the prisons, they have a lot of experience with it, but they don't have any knowledge of technical things and connection to the companies. And this is what our project wants to do. So you see also this little light there in the top. We're also about to pilot the first courses, hybrid courses, and if anybody, this is a call to all the companies outside there, if anybody has interest to participate in this, to participate in the piloting of these courses, very, very warm welcome. You see the web page there on the bottom. You will see my contact data. So I'm very sure this could be a contribution to give young people a second chance for their life, and secondly, to bring a little bit of solution to the big problem of the lack of well-educated people. Probably a chance to solve those both problems together. And also the teacher is also one thing that we'd like to scope with, to make the companies ready to deal with those prisoners, to educate them.
Yeah.
Okay, that's from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Inspiring, also use case. Thank you for all the presenters. And our time is running very fast, but I'd like to come back to all your fantastic experiences and ask one question with possible two answers, that you can give it to me. Well, there is very unique situation in European Union. If you've been listening to the plenary session before on the Year of Skills, it has never been such a high unemployment rate, and it has never been so many vacancies for the jobs open. So going back to your examples, on your experience, please elaborate on this question and why this situation and what could be done in action to solve it.
Yeah, I would say that one of the challenges is that digital technologies are evolving very fast. So the challenge for the government, the policymakers, and all the stakeholders in the society is actually to be able to build structures and solutions that respond to that very fast and accelerated digital technology. So that example that you presented, Torsten, was, I think that is very important because you can see on that metal rose what happens if you create a policy that is not effective. If you create and put all the resources and all the effort without hearing the industry, without hearing the needs of the industry, and not only hearing the needs, but actually continuously monitoring because it's changing very fast. So I think that could be a good solution, and I do think that is also an explanation on why. And I think that is important to also understand that we are in a changing moment, and yes, as a human beings, we need to get ourselves the time to understand that. And we have created a very good basic structure in Europe. So we have everything we need. We have understood how is the new future, and I think there is only good opportunities for us.
So let's hope we're going to use them. So, Antonio, what do you think on this question?
I fully agree with Karina. Okay. Yeah, but you know, we have the same structure of most of our ways to learn that we had when I was young, 50 years ago. Okay, so the training course for anyone coming from childhood to the maturity is the same on years, okay? But and the contents mostly the same also. So we have a challenge integrating in our system different approaches because lifelong learning is there and will remain there. And we need to provide our skills, our people, the opportunities to update the knowledge and the capacities all across their life. And we don't have so many ways to do it in a formal way, with quality, with the appropriate contents, you know, because I have members that tell me, I am creating a new user profile, new profession every month, you know, and how to train them. I have a member that told me, we have calculated that my team is renovating 70% of the technologies every 6 months. So every 6 months, they need to be trained for different technologies. And not only that, they need to select the technologies, they need to test the technologies, and look ahead for the new technologies. How to be ready for that rhythm? You know, that's the challenge.
It is. Do clusters come more in handy for these challenges?
Because we are close and we know, and our members are telling us, okay, you need to help me to be ready. And that is a mandate, I will say. Okay, so that's the reality.
Exactly. Thank you, Antonio. Francisco, let's continue on your opinion.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
With this? Okay. Well, I think this is part of the equation, probably the most important part of the equation among companies. I think self-employment is also important in these times where we have to be so reactive, so responsive to the problems, to the challenges that we have in front. You like it or not, companies, I mean, the management in companies is not so fast. So when we talk when we talk about the startups, especially, we have different dynamics there. So I think this is also important to take into account, the fact that with this new ecosystem of a technological war in front, probably self-employment is something that we have to support. Actually, I think we are doing that. I mean, I think concretely in Malaga, it's a very important part of the strategy of the city to support self-employment and to attract talent to the city.
Thank you so much, Francisco. Yeah. Please, let's continue, Thorsten.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, for me as the last speaker, it's always easy to say I agree to everything because everything is said. No, it is not the case. I have to add two points. Can you hear me? Is it okay?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
thank you. I have to add 2 points. First of all, I must say, it is not a real challenge to create, let's say, a technical course because this is our daily job. It is more challenging to bring parties together, make them talk to each other, make them understand the needs of the other party, and to make those things fit together. This is the main reason why we launched these two projects. And another challenge, this is also addressed to the companies, and I can understand them very well because we work very close with them together. But it is the case if the companies are doing well. So if they're really wealthy and really healthy, they don't have time for education because they need all their stuff for production. If the companies are suffering, they don't have money for education. So when is the right point of time for doing education? That's the big question that every company has to answer. And I think founded projects and clustering and joining together in education clusters could be a solution to solve this problem, because then each company has to contribute a little bit and has to invest a little bit of time, but has the benefit of all the participating companies. But there, once again, it was my first point, we have to talk together, so the circle is closed.
Thank you very much. And you actually pointed out a very good point. But let's hear a little bit out of the audience. Maybe you have a concrete question. And while everyone is thinking about questions, let's try to answer the first question from your listening to all the speakers. What do you think, which core skill set is vital for the competitive and climate neutral EU? If we are moving towards sustainability, moving towards climate neutral EU, so which core skill set would be vital? If panelists have the telephones, you can vote also. Okay, so we've been talking already a lot about collaboration, cross-sectorial, networking, so all those keywords that we are using. And these are probably the main words when we talk about clusters, Carolina. And so while listening also, I have a question. So for the industries, like Thorsten said, it's not always easy to choose on which skills to teach because it's money. It costs money. It's expensive. So how companies can predict the future skills needed, and so they would invest in the right direction?
Well, from the experience that we had from this project Co-Skill, actually, it was mainly the main goal was to help the companies in their digital transformation strategy. What we understood is that you need to have a 360 solution. It's not only about deep tech, but it's also about strategy. Like one of the courses that we created that was very trendy was it's I for my company. Just the idea to know if I do need to invest the time in building a strategy to use artificial intelligence or not. So leadership, like when we had the corona pandemic, many of the companies in the industry, they were not used to working distance. So we had even courses, we had like deep tech courses like Scrum Master and DevOps and things like that, but we also offer courses like Microsoft Excel and how to use Microsoft Teams, because then you understand that it's firstly important to understand what is the need of the company. And from there you can create different solutions. You also can use the clusters to understand the trends of the technology, because that's moving very fast. And I think we do amazing work to do that and to help our communities to understand what is the trend of the future.
Innovation scouting, that's one of the cluster services provided broadly. And as we see, the core skill set, that's collaboration. So let's have another question, and I'm coming to Antonio. So you were talking about the importance of partnership, the public sector, private sector. So how those kind of partnerships can help us with this upskilling, reskilling, and future prediction of the skills needed? What kind of role the government plays here?
I would say that it's extremely important, you know. Do you hear me?
Yeah?
Yeah, okay. And I have a clear reference in our region, for example, in Aragon, in Spain. We were able to ally ourselves with the technological center and the employment service of the regional government on how to detect the needs every year, and how to program the courses and the offering of events, even the seminars, in order to cover those needs. And it is working, but it was needed some kind of lateral thinking, okay? Because usually the way that the most public administration, at least around here, okay, works is with the university or with the big centers, you know, but they are not the only ones, and we don't want to compete with them. Exactly. We want to complete them. That is different approach. Of course, we are not competing. Even universities are very important members of our clusters, but we need something else. So if we are able to agree with our governments, with our Ministry of Skills, of Education, on completing the offer with other approaches, that is the best, in my opinion.
Yeah, thank you, Antonio. And right, the good question. How does industry-led training differ from traditional educational routes in developing skills for climate-neutral EU? And I see the answer driven by immediate industry needs. I'm turning to university, right there. The question for you, in many cases from the private sector, we hear that academia is too slow. And now for the upskilling, reskilling, we're expecting universities to provide programs right away. How do you see this?
Well, I would say that for history studies, they are fast enough. But for ICT, obviously, it's not. This is basically what I said before. This is going on too fast, and we cannot respond to that. I mean, we could always say, well, let's say that the computer science school will have different ways of updating their programs. This is not going to happen. because we are a community and we have to do things with the same rules. So this is almost impossible. After Bologna, after the plans were transformed according to the Bologna Agreement, we are very much driven by industrial needs. Of course, we are very much aligned with the society and with the companies in general, with the demand coming from the labor. But I have to say that it is very easy to forget something. Institutions, educational systems, are there to form people, not workers. So this is part of the equation. This is important, but it is not everything. So for me, it's shocking, this preferred answer, I have to say.
Shocking, Steve. Well, all running. Next question, please. And I'm moving further. So how the industries decide how we're going to be developing those future skills for the future labor force, and how we prioritize into which skills we invest.
Yeah, I must say, unfortunately, the slide has gone with the previous question. I must say that does not surprise me at all. It could have been a survey taken in Germany as well. There it is again. No, could have been taken in Germany as well, because the major challenge is, this was represented by the previous question, is the companies outside, they need knowledge. And they need it now, immediately, and they need it by well-educated people. And this is a really big challenge. This is also the reason why our institute is a connected institute to our university. So we're also cooperating with the university. That means we bring students right to the companies, that they do their bachelor thesis inside the companies, for example. And the companies are, of course, very keen to grab those students right away from the university into the labor practice. And this is a very good approach, as we think. Generally speaking, you were asking me for strategies of a good education, of a future education approach. From my experience, is still the combination of practical and theoretical education to do a real training on the job. As experience shows, you cannot teach somebody how to ride a bicycle only by an online course. This is not possible. You have to practice. You have to teach it. You have to practice. You have to fall down, stand up, and try again. So this is one major aspect, I think. But you can assist all those online features developed during COVID-19. That was a positive aspect of it. And this is our strategy, that we do, for example, a one-course training, and then do online further on contact, on supervising those people to do frequent questionnaires and frequent question hours to ask for feedback of the trained material taught 1 or 2 weeks before. And this is a good strategy which takes place over half a year, and this shows the companies, okay, then we cannot wait 3 years or 5 years to have educated people. We are working with an institute like us to educate the people, and they do it training on the job, but accompanied by professionals like universities or institutes.
Yeah.
If I may.
Yes, please.
If I may.
Antonio.
Francisco said something that merits another session, 1 hour or 1 day long, okay? You said universities are there to train people, not workers. I don't agree.
That's very
I don't agree. And we need to change that. Okay, of course, there are degrees that oriented to humans. I don't know, but we need to think about that, because we need the support of the universities for the lifelong learning, and not only for that, but also to be better prepared. So let's discuss about that later.
Well, unfortunately, our time is running out totally, but we came up to very interesting questions and answers. And by the way, so if it's skilling, upskilling driven by industry needs, then we see why the industry needs anything. That turns out to be out of your EU regulations, so and mandates. So those regulations are coming. So I would like to ask each panelist for the ending of the session, please give us concrete actions, steps that could be taken?
I think I have said it already. For me, the best bet to close this gap, to address this gap, is in women. So let's work on that.
Okay, thank you. Antonio?
I fully agree with Carolina, of course, but I think that we need to widen the game, you know, to include other players and to think laterally, meaning looking for new ways to approach the education all across our life. And so perhaps we need to make a small revolution on how do we do it.
Thank you, Antonio. Francisco?
Well, I think the importance of the computer is something that it is not understood enough at this point. I mean, the computer is not only a means for communication, it is also a device that can have the ability to teach. So it is not that I'm saying that we can replace humans, of course, but in some situations where this can be sped up or it can be complemented, it is really a very important agent in education. So I think looking in that direction of how computers can actually teach people is something that it could make a change.
Thank you so much, Francisco. And please, Thorsten.
My conclusion is personally to say we are in Europe. We have a nice Europe. I like it. Let's not only talk together, let's work together, real work together.
Thank
That's
you.
all.
So
Excellent.
collaboration and networking. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for participating, being active. It was fantastic discussion. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank
Christina.
you to you, Christina.